I've tested a lot of AI tools that promise to make your videos for you. Most of them fail. Not because the tech is bad, but because they try to take control away from you.
We're taking control.
So, the real question isn't whether AI belongs in your workflow. It's this: can AI actually save you time without ruining how you edit? That's exactly what I wanted to find out with Edit AI. Edit can do things like rough cuts, log B-roll, pull social clips, and even review your footage to help you improve it. Now, I could spend all day listing the features, but what I actually want to focus on in this video is how Edit helps real YouTube creators, people uploading YouTube videos like me, and if you're watching this, probably you as well. And just so you know, Edit AI is sponsoring this video, but everything you're seeing here is based on how I actually use it in my own workflow. If you're anything like me, editing isn't actually the part that burns you out. It's everything that comes before the edit. Sitting down with long talking head recordings, scrubbing through footage, finding clean takes, cutting out mistakes, pauses, and rambling just to get to something usable. And if you're publishing consistently on YouTube, that time adds up fast. Then, once the long video is finally done, you still have to go back and hunt for clips for shorts, rewatching the same footage again, trying to remember where the good parts were. This is where a lot of AI tools miss the mark. They try to decide what your video should be. They rewrite, re-edit, or reshape things in ways that don't sound like you. As a creator, that's not what you want. You don't want something making creative decisions for you. What you actually want is help with the repetitive stuff. The prep work that slows you down before you even touch your main timeline. You want a faster starting point, a cleaner first pass. And that's the lens I'm looking at Edit through in this video. Not something that replaces editing, but as a tool that gets you to the edit faster while you stay in control. The first thing I do, and this is something I've been doing long before AI was part of my process, is script my videos. This saves me a ton of time when recording and helps me stay focused instead of rambling. Even with a script though, I still mess up during recording. And a huge chunk of it, I stumble over phrases, restart lines, or even record multiple takes. That means I still end up with a long talking head clip that needs cleanup before it's usable. This is where Edit starts to make sense for me. Before I even open Final Cut Pro, I'll open up Edit and start a new project. I'll choose the talking head YouTube option and select Edit a video to match my script or outline. I don't know if it's the official name, but it's what I think of as scripted mode. This is where Edit steps in to handle the prep work that normally takes the most time. Since the video is already scripted, the first thing I do is paste my script into Edit. When I film, I usually capture my audio separately from the video. I could sync everything later, but in Final Cut Pro, I prefer editing with multicam clips. There's a few reasons I like that approach, but that's a conversation for another video. Because of that workflow, I'll enable multicams inside Edit as well. Next, I bring in my video clip and add my audio track. Edit automatically sets my video as the main video angle and the audio-only file as the main audio. If you're working with multiple files, you can also assign these manually. Once everything's in place, I'll hit import and let Edit transcode and analyze the footage. This does take a few minutes, but you don't have to sit there and wait. Go grab a coffee, a beer, or do something productive, like toss in a load of laundry. Edit will email you when it's done. Before exporting anything, I'll quickly review the edit inside Edit. In my experience, especially with scripted videos, the cuts are usually bang on, but if something feels off, it's easy to change. In this example, Edit chose the first take for my opening line, but I actually prefer the second take. I can highlight the first line, delete it, then restore the second line with just a couple clicks, just like editing a text document. At this point, the talking head portion of the video is done. I'll export this project by choosing Final Cut Pro and selecting my clip padding, which helps smooth out the cuts. I usually do about half a second at the start and half at the end. I'll hit save and export, and Edit prepares an XML file for me. From there, I can download it or drag and drop it straight into Final Cut Pro and keep going with my edit. Scripted mode works great when the video is actually scripted, but not every video starts that way. A lot of the time, you're dealing with podcasts, interviews, vlogs, or long recordings where you're figuring things out as you go. Unboxings are a good example for me. Those types of videos are almost impossible to script, and they usually end up with a lot of fluff and retakes. This is where Edit's unscripted mode can save a ton of time. I'll start a new project, but this time I'm going to do things a little differently. I already have my footage inside Final Cut Pro as a multicam clip. Instead of manually editing that clip, I can grab it and drag and drop it straight into Eddie. Eddie analyzes the footage and, in just a few minutes, builds a rough cut for me. Once that's done, I'll hit Export, make sure Final Cut Pro is selected, and choose Save and Export. When the XML file is ready, I can drag and drop it right back into Final Cut Pro. I absolutely love how easy it is to move projects back and forth between Eddie and Final Cut Pro. Back in Final Cut Pro, I end up with 2 projects from Eddie, a fully edited rough cut and another project containing everything Eddie removed. From there, I can start dialing things in and focus on the fun parts of the edit, like switching angles, adding B-roll, and dropping in graphics. Eddie handles the boring prep work, so I can spend my time on the parts that actually matter. Once a long-form edit is in good shape, the next step is usually shorts. And honestly, this is another spot where things can get pretty time-consuming. You either have to rewatch an entire video again, or scrub through the timeline trying to remember where the good moments are. This is where Eddie helped me a lot. Instead of starting from scratch, I can use Eddie to find the best parts of the long-form video and turn them into shorts. For me, that means less time searching and more time finishing the video and getting it out the door. I'll open another project in Eddie and select Viral Clips, Social Media. Depending on the source video, I'll choose either the speech or no speech option. Next, I'll drag and drop my video into the interview window and click Import. This is another big part of Eddie that we haven't even talked about yet. Once a video is analyzed, I can actually chat with Eddie and tell it what to do, very similar to ChatGPT. Over on the right, I've got a project summary and suggested topics, and on the left, there's a chat window. For this example, I'll ask Eddie to cut a YouTube short based on topic 2. After a few seconds, it comes back with exactly what I asked for. From here, I can export the clip and finish the edit in Final Cut Pro like before, or I can export a finished video straight out of Eddie, ready to upload to social media. To do that, I'll hit Export, open the video dropdown, and choose my export format. I'm going to pick vertical with captions. Eddie takes the clip, converts it to a vertical format, adds animated captions, and even reframes the video so the most important parts stay in frame. Your text is seamlessly sitting behind your moving subject. I can also use Eddie to come up with SEO-friendly titles, descriptions, tags, and more. Once again, handling the boring stuff so I can focus on the parts that actually matter. Since we're talking about how Eddie can help content creators, there's one more feature I want to show you. You can use Eddie to analyze your video and get AI-powered suggestions on how to improve it. I'll jump back into Eddie, select the Talking Head YouTube option, and this time, choose Get Feedback on my video. I'll drag and drop my video into Eddie and click Import. Eddie analyzes the video and comes back with some really solid suggestions. The first area it looks at is packaging. You get suggestions for a video title, thumbnail ideas, and even things like the YouTube description and chapters. That's helpful, but the real value here is the feedback on the video itself. For my video, the feedback was actually pretty eye-opening. Overall, Eddie thought it was a good, strong piece of content with good quality, but it was too long. I took too long to get to my first point, which means I could lose viewers right at the start. The video was also too long overall, and I had an ad spot in the middle that completely killed the momentum. This was a 9-minute video that could have delivered the same value in about 6 minutes. If I scroll down, there's a more detailed breakdown with some great suggestions. For example, the last effect I show in this video was flagged as the strongest moment, and Eddie suggested moving it to the very start. Looking back, that's actually a great call. I probably should have done that right away. I'm honestly really surprised at how well this feature works. The feedback was thoughtful, specific, and genuinely useful, not just generic AI advice. Eddie has a lot more features that I haven't shown yet, but I was intentional about focusing on the ones that matter most for content creators. The goal of this video wasn't to cover everything, but to show you how Eddie can save you time on real YouTube workflows while still keeping you in full control. Over the next couple of months, I'll be filming a mini documentary, and I'll definitely be using Eddie to help me with that edit as well. Once that project's further along, I plan to do a follow-up video that focuses more on features aimed at pro filmmakers. If you don't want to miss that follow-up video, make sure you're subscribed. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.